Hello, welcome to yet another lecture of Chem Bio lecture. So today we are going to discuss about lichen. So we are going to discuss about the general structure of a lichen, how they do, how they look, what is their habitat, how do they reproduce, how they get a nutrition. That's what we are going to see today. Okay, one of the very important topic. So let's see, the word lichen is actually given by what? Theophrastus, yes, and this lichen, the study of a lichen, that is called as a what? Lichenology. So whatever we are going to discuss, whatever things we are going to study about the lichens, we are under the topic what? Lichenology. That's a part of a biology. Okay. So let me just connect one story, a very short story over here. Actually, lichen were earlier in previous time, maybe because of their appearances, yes, because they are what? Green in color. That's why as they are green in color, they more or less look green in color because of their thallus-like structures. They were considered under the plantae, but later on it was found that with a number of resources, lichen is not, that does not fall under the plantae. Rather, lichen is actually what? It is actually the association. Okay, so when we mean association, that means it is a what? That is a symbiosis association, and in symbiosis association there are two important components, and what are those two important components are what? Algal partner, yes, they need to have one, they are forming their body structures by the combinations of algal partners and what? Fungal partner. Okay, so we will come to this, how they are oriented, we will look about this. Anyway, lichen does not fall under the plantae, rather they are the what? Symbiotic association of algae and fungi. Okay, so let's just continue with the habitat. Yes, so when we discuss about the habitat of a lichen, yes, habitat, they had a wide range of habitat where lichens are grown. Okay, so they can grow on soil, yes, the lichen which are able to grow on the soil, they are called as a what? Terricolous lichen, yes, terricolous lichen. Some of them are able to grow on the bark of trees, yes, most of them can grow. You might have observed lichen being grown on the bark of trees. Okay, and those are called as a corticolous lichen. Some of them can grow on the surface of a rock. Okay, on the surface of a rock or stones, so those are called as a what? Saxicolous lichen. Saxicolous lichen. So I would like to add here one thing important, very important. This is one of the important questions once asked in a medical exam. Okay, saxicolous lichen. You need to choose from the options whether it is those lichens growing on rock or stones or bark of trees or a soil. Of course, the answer is what? Saxicolous lichens. They grows on the what? Rock or stone surface. Okay, so as the context has arisen that lichens grow basically on the surface of a rock, they are even called as a, they are even termed as a pioneer colonizer. Okay, so let's see and understand the meaning of pioneer colonizer. So why in the what? Litho of, they are considered as a pioneer colonizer of what? Lithosphere. Okay, so why are they considered as a pioneer colonizer is what? In the area where there is nothing, especially in the rocky areas where there are no kind of any organisms growing, what happens is what? The propagules, or let's say the spores of a lichens, get settled on the surface of a rock. Yes, they get settled on the surface of a rock, and they will grow, they will start to form the what? Their thallus body. Okay, because the structure, they have a what? Lichen has a what? Thallus body. The thallus body will be grown on the surface of a rock. Okay, they even release acid. That acid is called as what? Carbonic acid. Basically they release the carbonic acid, and due to that carbonic acid, what happens is what? They can even erode the surface of rock. Okay, they are able to erode the surface of a rock, and what happens is that when they are liberating carbonic acid, when they are eroding the surface of a rock, they are finally resulting in the long term for the process of formation of a soil. Okay, and in the soil now it is making the environment suitable for other organisms to what occur. Okay, and what also occurs is what, due to the death and decay of its own body, this thallus body also with the death and decay, what happens is what, it will be disintegrated, it will add up to the organic matter, it makes the environment suitable so that other kind of lichens can grow. Yes, earlier I'm talking about the lichens growing on a rock, that is a crustose lichen will grow, and with the later on what happens with the organic materials, with the corrosions of a rock surface, even foliage lichen, even fructose lichen starts to grow. In this way they are considered as a what, pioneer colonizers. Okay, so that is one of the very important economic importance of what, lichen. Okay, so now let's look at the components. Okay, we discussed that the components of lichen, it is not an individual organism, so we must need to discuss about their components. So what are the components? Basically the two components, they are what, let me start with the relation, that is a symbiosis relation. Yes, they have which kind of a partner? Algal partner and fungal partner. Okay, let me write fungal partner here. So fungal component I'm writing, fungal component. Okay, and the major portion of the lichen is a fungal component. Okay, and the next component is what, algal component. Okay, algal component and fungal component, and they have a kind of a defined roles also being in this kind of a association. Fungal component, what does it do? Yes, it helps to provide protection, it helps to provide water, minerals. Yes, it helps to provide water, minerals, it helps in the reproduction process. Yes, reproduction process. Whereas algal component, yes, by the name algal component, they do have a what, they do have a chloroplast. As they do have a chloroplast, they can undergo the photosynthesis process, they can prepare the food, so they will what, prepare food. Okay, so many of the people even consider, it is even said as a what, master slave. Okay, so who is master here? Actually fungi is a master. Yes, because it is making the algal component to prepare the food, and it is using that food and helping the algal component in another way to keep that association functioning. Okay, so now in fungal component, again there are different classes of a fungi. So what classes of a fungi are actually included under the fungal component? Okay, so basically two groups, they are what, ascomycetes and basidiomycetes are found to be in association with lichen, or to be in association with algae. Okay, and in case of algae, basically the higher algae, that is green algae, and the next one is what, cyanophyceae, or let's say blue green algae, phyceae or blue green algae, they form the association, they form the what, association. And also on the basis, I already said that the fungal component is the what, major dominant component. On the basis of a type of fungal component, they are even classified as what, ascolichen. Yes, I guess that you have already figured it out. Ascolichen means what, the fungal components. If the fungal component is ascomycetes, then those groups fall under the what, ascolichens. Okay, and basidiolichens means what, that is what, basidiolichens. Okay, they form the group, those are called as what, basidiolichen. And we are seeing this in terms of a fungi because we already said that the major component of a lichen is what, fungi. Okay, I guess up to here you being clear. Yes, so we will be continuing to know more about the lichen. So So till now we just discussed about the symbiosis association. Yes, so let me discuss one more medical entrance questions. Yes, so basically most of the lichens are what? Most of the lichens has a ascomycetes as a fungal partner and green algae. Okay, green algae as algal partners forming the what? Lichen. So majority of lichen is what? Ascomycetes and association of green algae. Okay, so by deferring this options, one time it was asked in what? Medical exam. Okay, so I guess that you will pay more attention on this kind of things. So now let's move on to the different types of lichen. Yes, so types of lichen, let's see. Types of lichen. So on the basis of their morphology, on the basis of how they generally appears, lichen has been categorized into 3 different types. Those 3 different types are crustose lichen. Somewhere it is even written as a crustaceous. The next one is foliose lichen, and the third one is fruticose lichen. So now let's see what are the general characteristics so that we can say that this one is a crustose, this one is a foliose, and this one is a fruticose. Okay, so it's very simple to actually identify. Okay, so crustose lichen, I already said, if you remember, I said that in the terms of a pioneer colonizers, they are grown on the surface of what? Rock. Okay, if it is a rock, they are like a thallus like structures. As they are completely embedded in the surface of a rock, it won't be easy to just separate or peel out the what? Lichen part from the surface, or let's say from the substratum. Such kind of lichens are called as a what? Crustose lichens. Okay, so examples, I'm just trying to write 2 examples of each of the lichens because it is very important. Yes, even in your board exams you will be asked. So graphis lichen is an example of a crustose lichen. Similarly, lecanora lichen is also a what? Example of a what? Crustose lichen. Okay, so graphis and lecanora, both of them are so embedded in the surface of a rock that you won't be able to separate them out. Okay, so now let's move on to what are the foliose lichen then. What does the foliose lichen means? So the foliose lichens, they have got a what? They have the thallus has distinct lobes. Okay, thallus has distinct lobes. Okay, if I draw the structures like this, this is how the thallus structure of a lichen, if it is a surface of a tree. Yes, so you can see the distinct structures of a lobe over here. So such kind of a lichen is a what? Foliose lichen. Okay, so in such kind of a lichen, you can simply peel the surface and see the upper surface and lower surface. If you are able to observe their upper surface and lower surface, then that lichen is not crustose. Yes, that is what? Foliose lichen. Okay, so what is fruticose then? Okay, so fruticose lichens, they are basically what? They are like a ribbon, like considered as a shrubby lichens. They are considered as a what? Shrubby lichens. Such branched lichens. Yes, so those lichens are considered as a what? Fruticose lichens. And the examples, 2 examples, Osmia, yes, so Cladonia is even considered as a rinder moss because it is even taken as it is a shrubby branched structure. It is even taken as a food by the what? Rinder. Okay, that's why it is even considered as a rinder moss. So these are the what? Different types of lichen. Okay, crustose, foliose and fruticose. Crustose means what? They are completely embedded in the surface. You cannot separate the upper portion, lower portions. Okay, if you want to separate, you actually need to cut the what? Substratum. Those are crustals. And foliose means what? You can separate the surface upper, they have a distinct lobes. And fruticose means, of course, they are what? Much branched. Okay, so now let's start. So now let's discuss about the internal structure of lichen thallus. You might be wondering, yes, we are talking about the two associations. We're talking they do have a fungi, they do have a algal component. So how actually they are maintaining the relationships, how they are staying and firm and giving their morphology. Let's see this. Okay, so internal structure of lichen thallus. Yes, this part we call it as a upper cortex. It consists of densely compactly packed hyphae. Okay, so below the upper cortex, where I have indicated with a green, okay, green region, so those are actually the what? Algal cells. Okay, and those algal cells, they are hoarded by the loosely interwoven hyphae of fungi. Okay, below this regions again lies the what? We call this region as a medulla region. You can see I'm drawing the what? Loosely arranged. This is a which component? This one is a algal component. Yes, so this one is a algal component. This region is called as a medulla region. Yes, and this medulla region consists of a loosely interwoven hyphae. Okay, loosely interwoven hyphae. Okay, so below the, and it constitutes the major part of a what? Thallus. Okay, it constitutes the major part of thallus. So below the medulla region, that is below the medulla regions lies what? Again the what? Lower cortex, where again it consists of what? Compactly arranged what? Hyphal component. Okay, so below them lies a certain outgrowth, okay, small outgrowth, and those outgrowths that basically helps in the process of adhering or attaching to the surface, different surface. Those are called as what? Rhizinae. Okay, those are called as rhizinae. Okay, so let's just again see upper cortex, algal component. Yes, and below this region is a medulla region, where the hyphae are what? Loosely interwoven, and below of it lies the lower cortex, and it might be attached with the surface with the help of what? Rhizinae. Okay, so this one is the internal structure of lichen thallus. You might be wondering, actually I even used to wonder, we are talking the associations that how the algae is passing or supplying our food to the what? Lichen, to the fungal component. So let me draw one picture here. If these are the algal cells, yes, you see these algal cells are entangled. Yes, they are interwoven, they are encircled, they are covered in most of the part by the fungal component, fungal hyphae. Yes, so what happens is that when this fungal hyphae, as they are what? They are covering the algal cells, the steep releases the chemical. Yes, and as they release the chemicals, what happens? The cell wall permits, due to the presence of a chemical, it permits the fungal hyphae to enter the what? Algal cell, from where there dispatches of the what? Sugary material. Okay, from where they get the what? Food. They penetrate. Yes, they penetrate inside the algal cells, and from the algal cells they get the supply of food. Isn't this interesting? Of course, yes, yes. So these little creatures, these living creatures are actually performing such kind of functions. Okay, so we till now discussed types, habit. Yes, so let's discuss about the way of reproduction. Yes, different modes of reproduction. So they reproduction in lichen. Yes, So reproduction takes place by all three ways. Yes. So what are those three ways? That is vegetative reproduction, asexual reproduction, and then sexual reproduction. Okay, so let's see how does in case of a vegetative reproduction, they basically reproduce by the process of fragmentation. Okay, so when we mean fragmentation, it means what? Breaking of thallus, yes, into small fragments, and each fragment develop into the what? New thallus of lichen. So that process is what? Fragmentation. Okay, so another by the formation of a soredia. We are going to discuss about soredia, and next one is by the process of formation of isidia. Okay, so we will discuss in case of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproductions occurs usually in rare case. Okay, and when they are reproducing by the asexually, they might reproduce by producing oidia. Yes, that's a what? Spores from the part of a hyphae. Certain spores are released. It might reproduce by the formations of a what? Conidia. Yes, or it might reproduce by the formation of a what? Pycnidiospores. Okay, they might reproduce by the formations of a what? Pycnidiospores. Okay, so this is how the asexual reproduction takes place, and it occurs in rare case. Okay, so now let's see how the sexual reproduction takes place. The role of the sexual reproduction, the part of a reproduction is actually that comes under the shoulder of what? Fungal component. So it is all in all taken or done by the what? Fungal component. Okay, so there will be the what? Formations of a male gamete. Yes, we will discuss male gamete and female gamete. Yes, so fungal component will be responsible, and the fusion will occur, forming the what? Forming the fruiting bodies. That is what? Apothecium. Okay, from where it releases the what? Spores. Okay, so now let's see individually about the reproduction. So I already discussed about the fragmentation. Now let's see soredia. Okay, so soredia, let me draw the one structure of a thallus. Yes, so when I mean thallus, yes, this will be maybe the upper portion is what? The upper portion is cortex. Below the cortex lies the what? The green components I'm drawing, that is the algal component. Below the algal component lies the medulla regions. Below this lies the what? Lower cortex. Okay, so on the surface of a thallus, what grows from the algal component is basically the pistules like rounded structures. Okay, rounded structures are grown from the surface of thallus. Rounded structures grow from the surface of thallus, and those rounded structures, let me draw here, those rounded structures actually consist of algal cells. Yes, those consist of algal cells, and they are what? Entangled by the hyphae, fungal hyphae. Yes, so they consist of a what? Fungal hyphae. So this is considered as a what? Soredium. In the structure of a thallus, you are seeing a small rough structures. Yes, grayish, green-like structure, greenish structures are microscopic structure. Granular structures are grown on the surface of a thallus. Yes, so these are called as a soredia, an individual soredium. Okay, when I say individual, this one is a what? Soredium. So each soredium consists of a what? Algal cell, few algal cells, and what? Fungal hyphae. And when they get disseminated with the wind or different other mechanical agent, now they can grow on other surface and forms the thallus. In this way, from the soredia, vegetative reproduction takes place. Okay, so now let's see isidia. From how reproduction how lichen reproduce by the what? Formation of ecidia. So ecidia is more or less similar to that of a what? Similar to that of Soredia. So only what I am showing is what? They are a kind of a tubular, yes, they are a what? Tubular growth. They may be branched, yes, they may be unbranched. Such kind of a growth are seen from the surface of a thallus, especially from the algal region. This one is the algal component regions, yes. So as they rise, there is actually increasing the surface area and increasing the efficiency of the thallus to make the food, okay. And due to the different mechanical reasons, due to the wind, when they get separated from the thallus, now this each ecidium, yes, each ecidium, as it consists the algal component and as it consists the what? Fungal component, yes. And one more thing, actually even this ecidia are surrounded by the what? Cell from the cortex, okay. They are surrounded by the wall of cortex, okay. So when they get separated, what happened now? This ecidium is able to form its one thallus. So such kind of a reproduction is aided by the what? Ecidia, which falls under the vegetative reproductions, yes. Papillate, tubular, maybe branched, unbranched, yes, consists of a layer of a cortex cells, inside which lies the what? Which lies the algal component, and inside which lies the what? Fungal component. And as it has the ecidium has the algal and fungal component, now it is able to grow in what? On certain surface, okay. So now let's see another mode of a reproduction. I already said it occurs in the rare case, and that rare case occurring reproduction is what? In what? Pycnidium or pycnidia. Singular pycnidium, plural what? Pycnidia, okay. So how does this pycnidium or pycnidia has a structure? So basically they have what? Flax-shaped structure, yes. I'm drawing the structure of a what? Pycnidium, yes. They have a flax-shaped structures. So this must be the cortex region, there must be the algal component, yes, that must be the interwoven hyphae, yes, there must be the what? This must be the hyphae region, cortex region. So in this pycnidium, what grows is what? What grows from the hyphae, fungal hyphae, what grows is what? Pycnidiospores. And these pycnidiospores are produced from this flax-shaped pycnidium, and these pycnidiospores, those are the what? Non-motile, yes, those are what? Non-motile, and due to the sticky mass fluid, they get oozes out. They oozes out from this spore. The spore is called as what? Osteole, okay. They oozed out. These pycnidiospores are taken out from this what? Flax-shaped structure, that is pycnidium, okay. So motile pycnidiospores are formed from the what? Fungal component, fungal hyphae. So these fungal components are released out from the opening, that is osteole. What happens on getting associated with a suitable algae, it can later on reproduce, it can later on form its one thallus. When this pycnidiospores gets what? Required algal cells, when it gets the required algal cells, yes, as it gets the required algal cells, now it can develop into the new thallus, okay. So this is a what? Kind of a sexual, this is how a sexual reproduction takes place in case of lichen. So now let's see the sexual reproduction, yes, how does the sexual reproduction occurs? So sexual reproduction, the male reproductive organ is called as spermagonium, yes, and spermagonium that releases the what? Spermatia, yes. So this spermatia are released from the spermagonium. Spermagonium, the male reproductive gamete or cell is what? Spermatia. And where are this spermatia from or massia from is what? They are again what? They are formed. Spermatia are released. So spermagonium, it is a flax-shaped structure, yes, with an opening at the top. We call it as a ostiole, yes, from which the minute spermatia are released. Minute spermatia are formed in those flax-shaped structures, okay. And this spermatia, they are the what? They are the male cells. Spermatia, they are the what? Male cells. Oh. So let's see female reproductive organ. Okay, so I already said the entire role of carrying the reproduction is all in all done by what? Only the fungal component. So female reproductive organ is called as carpogonium. Okay, so this carpogonium, so let me draw the structure first. So what do you see there? Here is what? It has this is the structure of a carpogonium. It grows in the medulla region. Yes, medulla region means the regions where the hyphae are loosely interwoven. Yes, and it consists of a basal swollen region. We can see the female reproductive structure in the thallus of a lichen. Yes, you can see our low upper cortex. Below this lies the what? Algal component. So more or less in the medulla region you can see the what? Female reproductive structures, which we call as a carpogonium. And this carpogonium consists of the basal swollen region. This basal swollen region is called as ascogonium. Okay, and the upper tubular region, this upper tubular region is called as what? Trichogyne. So carpogonium consists of a upper tubular region, that is trichogyne, and basal swollen region, that is what? Ascogonium. Okay, so what happens is that we say that in a male reproductive organ, that is a spermagonium, spermatia were released. Now the spermatia will come in contact with the what? Trichogyne. So from spermagonium, spermatia are released. They come to lies in the sticky surface of trichogyne. The protoplast get released from the sticky surface of a trichogyne, and it travels down to the what? Ascogonium, where it fuses with the nucleus of what? Ascogonium. Okay, now as it fuses with the nucleus of ascogoniums, there occurs the fertilization. Yes, and as there is a fertilization, it results in the formation of a fruiting bodies, that is what? Apothecia. So in this way reproduction is carried out in lichen. Okay, so these are the basic things that we need to at least know about lichen. I had discussed to you the medical questions also, a structure also, their habitat also, and I just want to add at the end one very interesting thing. I would like to add one more information about the lichen. Yes, so lichen has actually added one more curiosity among the scientists in the recent experiments, in the recent resources. It is found that it is not actually the combinations of two components, that is algal components and only the fungal components. It is found that there might be the role of even another components. Okay, if it is a fungal component, let's say ascomycetes, yes, there might be another fungal components, that is a what, basidiomycetes. Both ascomycetes, basidiomycetes, and even algae, that is 3 components are forming the what, lichen. The research part is going on that topic. Yes, so the components of the lichen is still being studied. Beside that, lichen is one of the very important part of this ecosystem. They are very important part of the what, ecosystems. They are a very good indicators of air pollution. Yes, they want to grow in the area where there is a air pollution. So as there is a air pollution, as there is an indication that lichen is starting to disappear, that means that is indicating that the place is being polluted. There is even more, let's say the place has the what, higher amount of a sulfur, SO2 or sulfur dioxide. Okay, in this case what happens is what, lichen quickly react and cannot grow in such kind of a area. Lichen is actually used for various purposes. I already said they are the what, pioneer colonizers. They indicate the pollution. They even are used to make a litmus paper. Yes, litmus paper. The dye obtained from lichen, they are used for making the what, litmus paper, especially from Rossella tinctoria. Okay, that's a kind of a lichen from the Rossella tinctoria litmus paper that is you often used in the laboratories. Those are made, even some of the lichens had got the antibiotic roles. Yes, and some of the lichens, I already said, they are the what, fodder for the what, different kind of animals, especially the reindeers. So this is all about the lichens. Yes, this is something. Okay, this was the lichenology we just did. Yes, thank you for watching this video. If you really like this video, then please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. So keep on watching the channel Came By a Lecture. Thank you.